Coming up on City Spotlight, we're on location for our third episode on Newton. We'll talk for the first time with Newton Mayor Jasper Cool about being the mayor of his hometown. And we'll get the latest on public works and economic development in Newton. Then we'll talk education in Newton with the new superintendent of Jasper County Schools, Joe Sornberger, who will share his journey to this position in Jasper County, an update on facilities in the school district, and how the current school year is going for Jasper County Schools. We're on location and back in Newton. Next on City Spotlight. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com.
And hello and welcome to another edition of City Spotlight. As you can see, we're on location once again here in Season 9, and we are back in a familiar spot, Newton City Hall, for our third City Spotlight episode on Newton. We are on location again here at City Hall. And to help us out in this episode, we welcome first time to the program, the Mayor of Newton, Jasper Cool. Joshua, pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Great to talk with Joshua for the first time. We taped 2 episodes back in 2021 on Newton, interviewed your predecessor, and the elections happened right after I taped that first episode. So first time guest for you, Joshua, on this program. Tell our audience about yourself, please.
Born and raised here in Newton, Illinois. Have a degree, business degree, actually double major, communications and a business degree from Eastern Illinois University. Mm-hmm. My fiance and I, Larissa, we live here in Newton with our 7 children. So we have a big family.
Wow.
We also own a retail ag facility in Kansas, Illinois, so in between Charleston and Paris.
Very good.
The name of that is 18 Feet Ag Services. The name, people always ask where the name comes from. 7 kids, 2 adults, 9 times 2 is 18. So
do the math.
There we go. So
very good. I've probably passed it in my travels.
Yeah,
to Kansas.
absolutely.
Very good. So you're from Newton, Illinois. You are the mayor of this community. Don't know if it was a dream of yours but I find it really neat when I hear that a person is from the community that they are leading in whatever position it is. In this case, you're the mayor of this community. Mm-hmm. What does it mean to you to be the mayor of your hometown? Truthfully,
a lot of it came from sitting back and complaining or being the naysayer on the internet, quote unquote, or stepping up and trying to do something about it to change our community. Mark previously did an excellent job. He was in this position for 16 years, and I can't say a bad thing about him. But at the same time, we have to look forward. Younger generations coming along. Mm-hmm. The old guard, per se, was sitting in this council room for a long time. The majority, as you look at our city council today, it's a lot younger. So we have a gentleman that sits actually in this seat right here who is 18, soon to be 19 years old. So he's a freshman in college.
You can't get much younger than that.
Actually, so he'd be a sophomore now. So he'd be 19 or 20. We just brought on a new one due to a vacancy. Mm-hmm. He's in his younger 20s. So if you look at it, Eric Blake would be low to mid 40s, I guess. We have a young council, and it's exciting to see and see that progression, moving forward. So it is exciting to be at the helm. More importantly, I ran just to see what we could get done. And budgeting has become a lot of that.
You've been at the position coming up on almost 2 years. I'm interviewing you for the very first time. What are some things that you've learned about your hometown that you have, in the course of 2 years that maybe you didn't already know, or just based on the position? What have you learned about this community in the almost 2 years that you've been mayor?
I think we all have a perception of, you become mayor or you run for city council and you can change things by the snap of your finger. And That's just not the way it works. If you want to cut taxes, lower utility rates, those type of things, you have to be able to decrease your expenses in another facet, or be able to pull your money from other places. You just can't be elected in this position and think that you're going to change things day one and make things happen. So that has been a big eye-opening experience. The other part of that is, actual just the meetings in general, just the steps that you have to go through, the agendas, what can be talked about and what can't, executive session, those type of things. So it was a big learning curve for me from that standpoint and not having any background within that.
All right. Thank you for that perspective, and having Joshua on the first time. Glad to introduce you to our audience. All right, let's talk about the community that you lead. Let's catch up on the community, since it's been almost 2 years for us here on City Spotlight talking about the community of Newton. And let's start Public Works, because there's not a day that goes by that in any community, regardless of size, there's some project going on, big or small. What are some of the more recent projects that have been taking place in Public Works in the community of Newton?
I would say from a broad spectrum,
Right.
Most importantly, it's probably been water lines, just updating, getting rid of a lot of our old piping systems with our clean drinking water. We have a state-of-the-art water treatment facilities, probably one of the best in the state of Illinois. Our water department does a heck of a job. I can't say enough about all of our city employees and the work that they do, but from a standpoint of that, a lot of water line replacement. We did do a big project out in the city park, thanks to some local community members that decided to do a Christmas light display that started 2 years ago. We needed some electrical upgrades out there to help them out.
Are you referring to Peterson Park?
Yeah, it is. I am.
Okay.
And then at the same time, we had another family within the community that donated equipment, labor, and time to help us with the boring machine and other things. So we were, very ecstatic and very thankful for that. That has been a big plus for our town, as you've seen in the wintertime where not so many things are going on. We've coupled that with the things that go on the square. The Chamber of Commerce does an excellent job bringing people into our community. So it's been a nice thing to see those people come in throughout what we call the dull months of the year and visit our community and hopefully stop and enjoy one of our great restaurants.
A lot of communities here in central Illinois, in this case southeastern Illinois, are getting to a certain age.
Yeah.
And you mentioned water lines. Those are things that are an absolute essential to a community. You've got to feel good to be able to update those water lines.
Absolutely. Infrastructure is a big thing. Over time, we can have upgraded sewer facilities, water treatment, those type of things, new equipment, but the infrastructure within the city is probably where we've lacked. And that's not only on our water side, but it is with the sewer, electrical, and of course our roads. So we're always looking to upgrade those things. We know that down the road, our biggest one is the electrical grid that we currently sit on. We're truthfully at about max capacity of what we can handle here locally. So those are some big projects. Grants through the state and through local governments have been a big plus for us to be able to get those done as well.
All right, very good. I'll ask you what's maybe on tap for the rest of the year after I ask you about economic development. And your predecessor, when he gave me a broad scope of what this community has from a business standpoint, a lot of medium-sized businesses is what I took away from that, and a lot of them. So what can you share with us over maybe the last 6 to 9 months? Any newer businesses or updates to any of your existing businesses that you'd like to share?
Yeah, so we've brought in a little. It's not been a big home run, and truthfully, we're not looking for a home run. We're looking for those singles and base hits, maybe a few doubles here and there.
That's exactly how the previous mayor said it.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are the things that we look at. We're adding another restaurant here in town. We've had the ability to add a coffee shop, a locally owned and driven coffee shop here that has been an excellent addition to us. We have got a vacant building down on the south side of town, of course, that is now occupied. The senior living apartments are done. People are starting to rent those. So if you look at it from a broad spectrum, there's not just been one thing that has really happened. There's been a plethora of things that have continued to help us grow. If you look, the majority of our growth has come on the west side of Newton as you're heading out of town with the hotel, the new bank, West End Reception and Events.
And that's a fantastic facility.
Absolutely.
And that's along the state route.
Yeah, Doug does a heck of a job with his business, and that's been very beneficial to our community. And also to the hotel locally. With out-of-town events, weddings, and different things. It's a nice thing to see that business is helping businesses indirectly and not really, knowing it. So the focus has really been there. If you look 6 months down the road, essentially we're still looking. We have the South Industrial Park that that we're always trying to get people into. The biodiesel facility, unfortunately, we hit some roadblocks with them, but it has since sold, and we're in the process, I hope, here in the near future, to get some of that equipment out of there to be able to move forward with something else here down the road. So those are some of the small things that you'll see change here in the near future.
So we're taping here February 7th, 2023. The year is still very young. You kind of maybe just gave us a peek into what's ahead for Newton, but what would you say this year? What is some of the focus that you guys are, maybe not things that you can speak of, but what are some of the things you're focusing on this year that you'd like to accomplish?
So one of the big things is that we tried over the last year to merge the Chamber of Commerce and the Jasper County Economic Development Group. Unfortunately, you have a group in the chamber that does a really good job of hosting events, fall festivals, Scare on the Square, Christmas type events that just didn't portray, the economic development process. So here in the last 45 days, we've split back apart. I'm hoping that we're close to working on a deal with Jasper Jobs, which is another organization locally that owns a lot of that ground in the South Industrial Park. We're looking to add a full-time or a part-time, depending on who that person may be, if we can get that right person in for an economic development coordinator, and really just start to see where our hole's at. But I would say that our main focus, and for me, a big thing over the next year would just be to get with the businesses here locally, not only just in the city of Newton, but in Jasper County in general, and see what really their 2, 5, and 10-year plans are, and see if that growth can't come from the businesses that we already have here locally. The other focus, truthfully, needs to be on the high school. We have a great school system here in Jasper County.
Yes.
Looking into those and finding those individuals or those kids that want to possibly come back to this community and seeing if we can't do a work-type program or maybe even a college stipend of some sorts to get those people back in our community. So we'll look into that, and pretty exciting stuff.
We'll talk Jasper County Schools here in just a second. Again, you are from this community. Folks at home, maybe they're seeing this City Spotlight program for the very first time. They've maybe heard of Newton, Illinois, but they haven't been here. Give a little shout out to your community. What is something that you're most proud of Newton?
Oh, hands down, our school system. There's nothing better than Newton, Illinois on a Friday night home football game. The community is
high school
very,
sports. It's awesome.
I mean, it does. But I'll tell a quick story. I talked about the biodiesel plant here earlier in this episode, and the gentleman that I've been discussing with is from South Texas. Okay. He sent a couple individuals up and virtually just looking at the equipment and see it's all there. And we had a nice long conversation actually yesterday, and he said, "What does your community need?" He said, "We've never been somewhere where everybody has been so helpful and so nice and so graceful." He's like, "You're the plethora." He's like, "My wife already said we're not moving to Illinois because we don't like cold weather, but what can we do to help you?" So finding contacts like that is a big plus, but them seeing, living the Newton, Illinois, the Jasper County, Illinois life, they get to see it. It's a great community. People really stick up for each other. I couldn't ask for a better place to raise my children, and I hope that someday my grandkids will get to stick around here too, but it's a safe community, and it's a loving community, and we get behind one another. So it is the, epitome of small town America.
And that's why we do programs like that, to hear from people like you that happen to be just so happen to be from the community that they lead. Yep. First time talking with the current mayor of Newton, Illinois, Joshua Kuhl. Joshua, it's been a pleasure, and we look forward to many more times taping with you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And coming up next here on City Spotlight, we'll shift gears, as Joshua mentioned, and talk about those Jasper County schools with their new superintendent, Joe Sornberger. But first, let's take a look at some of the upcoming activities going on in Newton. And we're back here on City Spotlight as we continue this new on-location episode in Newton, and we're back in a familiar spot, the Jasper County School District offices, and we welcome first time to the program, the new superintendent of Jasper County Schools, Joe Sornberger.
Thank you.
Joe, great to have you on.
I'm excited to be here. Well, I'm excited to have you here, actually.
Likewise, and I understand you're also an EIU grad. So
I am.
You're a first-time guest. Tell our audience about yourself, please.
So my name is Joe Sornberger. I'm the new superintendent at Jasper County Schools. I started my educational career at Indiana State University. Got my undergrad degree there, and then got my master's in education leadership. But then when I was looking to further my education, I went to the Eastern Illinois University. Graduated in 2007, and then was able to become a superintendent in the Palestine School District. Mm-hmm. And from there moved on to the Rova School District for about 8 years, and now I'm in Jasper County and excited to be here. And this is my 11th year as a superintendent.
As I interviewed your predecessor recently on an Effingham episode, Andy Johnson, the natural progression of being an educator, a superintendent, you make moves from one district to the other. So what drew you to this position here in Jasper County?
So I'm originally from this area. I was born and raised in Robinson, Illinois.
Okay.
And so every job I've taken as a superintendent has been one that I've researched and has had meaning for me. Palestine is where my wife was born and raised.
Very good.
That was where we started. Rova is a school district in Western Illinois. That's where my grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and family, my dad went to school. So it was an opportunity to go back and go to a place that I had family. And now's the time to come back and be closer to home to my parents and my wife's parents. And Jasper County is a larger school district than I've previously been in. We have 1,300 students. So this is a great opportunity to help impact the lives of students here in Jasper County.
All right, very good. First time I talked Jasper County Schools on this program was 2 years ago, as I mentioned to your predecessor, Andy Johnson. That was in 2021. Let's kind of revisit your buildings because not many school districts have a brand new building. So you have 4 buildings in the school district, 3 in Newton and 1 school in St. Marie. Any recent facility work that you can speak of to our audience?
So I'm just coming in and taking over on what Andy did. Mm-hmm. I thought Andy did an awesome job with our buildings and preparing us for that. So the first thing that we're looking at right now, we are just finishing up an elevator project at Newton Community High School.
Okay.
That project will make Newton Community High School handicapped accessible for all 3 floors.
Wow.
So we're very excited about that. We're just finishing that up actually this week. So we have the ability for our students who are unable to get up and down the stairs. Now we have a way to get them throughout the building. They can be a part of the educational process no matter what goes on. And realistically, we have a student right now that came in and needed the elevator immediately, and we're able to move that student to wherever he needs to go. So we're excited about that.
That is a tremendous advancement. I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's you said 3-floor school. Not a brand new building, so that must have been still quite a project.
So just to give you an idea, really that building was built in 1923. So we are
100 years old.
We are at the 100th
Wow.
year of that building. So this would be the 100th year of us graduating kids from Newton Community High School.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
That's a milestone.
We're excited about that. But as you know, with the 1923 building, they weren't built to be as accessible as they could be. But the Jasper County School Board has been able to put things in place to allow that elevator to happen, and it's in and it's done, and we're excited to have the free movement for our students.
What are the challenges? I know, again, you are in your first year as superintendent in this county, this community of Newton. You're probably still acclimating yourself to everything, staff, students, buildings. From your perspective of having been in other school districts, what is the challenges of having older buildings and trying to keep them maintained?
So, as you mentioned, we have 3 buildings in the city of Newton. We have 1 in St. Marie, and our buildings now are old and there are things that need to be updated that just haven't been. So the start of this year, we started a building plan to try to get some of those things in order. One of the things is HVAC. Our buildings right now currently do not have an HVAC system. That they have HVAC, right? We have window air conditioners and we can keep the building cool. But an HVAC system as you would know it, so we have a $4.7 million HVAC project that's going to start this summer.
Okay.
So by September of next year, all schools in Newton will have brand new HVAC.
Wow.
We're also looking for roofs to redo the roofs in all those buildings.
Those are big projects because roofs cover everything.
So, and it's like anything else. I think these were things that needed to be done and had to be done, and we've just found a way this year to kind of get those off the ground. And we have St. Marie, which is where our pre-K and our K kids are, and we're constantly looking at ways to get them back into Newton. St. Marie's a good distance from Newton. We'd like to have our little ones as close to us as possible. So we'll continue to work on our building plans and hopefully, attack issues, improve the educational environment, and get more kids back into Newton.
As I talked with Joe before this taping here, I let time do its thing, and we'll always be talking about the facilities because this is obviously where the learning and the things happen. Very good. Tell us about the current school year here in Jasper County. I know we're taping here February 7th of 2023, so I'm still bringing up COVID because it's still somewhat relevant to our lives, but from your perspective, and again, you are acclimating yourself to this community, this school district, has this school year from your vantage point felt more normal, I guess, from where it's been in previous years?
Most definitely. The ability for our kids to interact with each other without 4 feet of space. Yeah. Our kids being able to go on field trips again. Our kids being able to play sports without anything over their face or any limitations. Extracurricular activities. I think one of the biggest things for us that has not been mentioned is that our teachers didn't go to professional development for years because of this.
That's right. I didn't think about that.
So now our teachers are taking the opportunity to go out and learn the things and refine what they do in the classroom. So we're very excited about that, and we're very excited about the school year, and so far so good.
As you continue into this first year as superintendent, learning about your staff, students, and we mentioned the buildings, what short or long-term goals do you have for the school district?
Well, the district itself has a strategic plan. It's put in place in 2022 and it goes through 2025. So I'm really just piggybacking off what they are doing. Those goals involve parent involvement, obviously facilities, our academic achievements, like social emotional learning for our kids, and student involvement. So we're focusing on those 5 right now. Building has been my biggest one that I've been trying to push forward.
The transition from one school district to another, you're the leader of this school district, but what is, give the people at home a perspective of what is the learning curve for you as you're leading the school district, but you're also you're learning yourself.
So walking into a new community is always interesting because you're trying to figure out what the traditions are, what things people want to do all the time and what not. So one thing I will say about Newton and being in this community is that community spirit for schools is high, right? Unbelievably high. You cannot walk around the city of Newton without seeing the Eagles shirt on someone. And that has been different in the places that I've been in the past. I mean, the community support for the school is unbelievably 100% go. The other thing that I've seen since I've been here is in all communities you have some things that happen that are good to our community members and fellow teachers and students, but everyone just comes together. And since I've been here, I have felt welcomed into our community, and when neighbors and anything needs help, we get help. I have 2 kiddos, one's a 7th grader and one's a sophomore. It's hard for kids to come in, especially if you're the superintendent's kid, into a community, and the students at Newton Junior High School and high school have been wonderful to my kids, and they have enjoyed their time here.
Answered my very next question about what have you learned about the community. You obviously mentioned right off the top, you're not unfamiliar to the community of Newton since you kind of grew up in the general area. What's something you've learned about the community of Newton that maybe you didn't know previously, even being close to this area growing up?
Well, I would say it's the vastness of Jasper County. I mean, Jasper County is the largest county basically in the state for
it is a good size
for square miles. So as a superintendent, that was something that when I sit down and talk with our bus transportation director, I didn't fully fathom how massive of a county and a school district we were in.
I did see a bus on the way here several miles to the north as I was driving down. So yes, it does cover a lot of ground.
Yes. So it's pretty incredible the distance that we cover and the amount of kids that we get here. So I think for me that was the biggest thing. And then we've had a couple snow days and ice days, so we've been out driving roads and trying to figure all that out. So it's been an interesting start there, but so far so good.
All right, very good. I don't have any other questions left for you, Joe. I know next time we talk, we can talk more in detail about other things, but is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I'm just excited to be a part of your broadcast and you coming down here and doing the things that you do to support our local communities and schools. And I thank you and excited for the future here in Jasper County.
Fantastic. This is our third episode. We're concluding our third episode on Newton. Look forward to many more. And we thank for the first time here on this program, the new superintendent of Jasper County Schools, Joe Sornberger. Joe, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. And that'll do it for our latest City Spotlight episode on Newton. We've been on location. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for tuning in to City Spotlight. You can check out past episodes, including the one you're watching right now, on YouTube. To check out recent episodes of Central and Southeastern Illinois towns featured on City Spotlight, search on YouTube, City Spotlight, with the show number and the name of the town. Listed on your screen are the last 5 episodes of City Spotlight. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com.